everybody. Welcome back to Book Talk with Breanne, episode 6. I'm going to be talking about 2 books today because I have done something so good and I'm so happy about it. I have now finished Harry Potter, finished the series finally. The last 2 books I had to read and I read them. So, obviously I read this one first, the Half-Blood Prince. I went to London at the end of the summer, and so I took this book on the plane with me. I finished the book I was reading before this one, 1984, on the plane. Then I read like 120 pages, maybe 200 pages of this before we landed. Didn't read much on the trip. A bit when I was feeling jet lag and I would wake up really early, I'd read some of this. But I don't think I got more than 300 pages in on the actual trip itself. I then finished this book on the way home, because it's like an 8-hour, 9-hour flight. I think it ended up being actually 10 hours when we came home. Finished this on the way home, had time, read some other books. Not some other books, but I flipped through a book that I had. But I wasn't really feeling like reading it, because all I really wanted to do was read this. And then so I got home, started this pretty darn quick. I mean, I had some stuff I had to do since I'd just been on vacation, and I had to get my life back together and no longer on vacation mode. But I started this, and surprisingly, it was kind of slow for me in the beginning. I was expecting to whip through this, like maybe even just sit down and read this whole thing in a day, because I would just be so engrossed in the story. Because I loved Half-Blood Prince. By far my favorite of the books. Even after I finished this one is still my favorite. I really enjoyed it. But for me, I felt like the first 300 pages or so of this, they were good. Like, I really enjoyed them. And I loved reading these books. But they just weren't as, like, gripping and keeping me like, oh, keep reading, because I knew the story. Which was kind of why it had taken me so long to read these books in general, because I know the story. But when you read these books, there's obviously so much more in here that isn't actually in the book. And a lot of my favorite things, actually all of my favorite things from the books, are things that aren't in the movies. And they're very, very good. But so I finished this book 2 days ago. I meant to talk about it right after I finished it, but it was like 1 in the morning or something. I was like, I cannot film this right now. And then yesterday it's my long day where I leave the house at 7:30 and I don't get home till like 9:30 at night. So I couldn't do these yesterday. I went to work today, came home, and now I'm going to talk about it. Okie dokie. So I will start with Half-Blood Prince. I don't remember a lot of the details of things that I loved, but the main thing that stood out for me that just made this book so good was they actually seemed like people. Like the kids at school actually seemed like they were children at a school. Harry is starting to develop this crush on Ginny, which really comes left field, but I'll talk about that in a second. But he's starting to develop this crush. There's Ron Lavender, and then there's Hermione and Ron liking each other but not talking about it. Ron is still upset about Victor Crumb, and Hermione's like, what the heck? We're just friends, all this stuff. But I just really liked that. I loved when Dumbledore and Harry would go through the memories together, the time they would spend in their office. I love Trelawney in this book. How much, because Firenze has come in now and he's also a divination teacher and he can't go back to the Centaurs because they have banned him from ever returning. They view him as a traitor now for working for wizards. So Trelawney is all pissed because she's like, I'm the divination teacher and they have this horse who's also teaching. And so she is drunk all the time, and it's very fun. And there's one scene with her and Harry where she's talking to him and he's like feeding into it. It's very good. There's also a scene in here where, I believe it's in here, yes, where Luna is she's taken over for Lee Jordan. They have like a few people running in for Lee Jordan to do the commentating on Quidditch, and Luna for one of the matches is picked, and it's so funny the stuff she's saying, because it's just useless. Obviously she's not good at it, but Ron loves it, and he actually goes up to her and is like commemorating her for how much she enjoyed it. And I think that was something that I really liked as well, was Harry and Ron actually being polite to Luna, because in the 5th book, Harry is an asshole to Luna. Like, he is mean. But in this book, he really starts to come into, you know, she's a pretty cool chick. So I really, really, really liked this. The ending was good. I really liked how they put in Dumbledore's funeral, because that's not in the movie, that he's buried at the school, and that's just a whole scene that I think really should have been in those movies, and it was really good to read. It was really fun. Not fun, it was actually quite sad after the fact, because I really liked book Dumbledore. I don't like movie Dumbledore, but book Dumbledore I really, really liked. But after he's now passed, but before the funeral, there's so much like talking between characters that goes on that, I mean, is just cut out of the movie. And I really enjoyed reading that. But anyways, that's this book. It was very good. I liked it a lot. Oh! I was going to talk about the relationship with Ginny and Left Field. So, all in before, he's been like, has the eyes for Cho. And then, out of the blue, it's just like, gone. Like, I get that they were mad at her because her friend was the one who snitched. But it wasn't Cho who snitched. So it would have made a lot more sense, because it was the entire book's progression of him liking Cho, starting to date Cho, all these things. And then it just kind of doesn't happen, and all of a sudden he's really into Ginny. Which, I mean, I enjoyed him liking Ginny, and I really liked Ginny in the book. She's very witty. But it just, I don't know, it felt weird to me that they just didn't continue with the Cho relationship. And I think that could have added a really interesting dynamic into the books, especially in the last book, with it being Cho instead of Ginny. Anyways, Deathly Hallows. I really liked this book. I'd say the all-star for me was Creature, which I couldn't even fathom myself saying that before this. I loved Creature, and I loved Luna, and Hermione's pretty darn good. Harry pulls knowledge from his butt. He gets so smart figuring all these things out. And it was really good. Again, the first 300 pages or something, they were good. I enjoyed them. 5-star pages, but they weren't like gripping me to keep going. I mean, obviously I was interested in the story, but it just wasn't giving me like that fast-paced flying through feel. Come 300 pages in, once they've started hunting Horcruxes, and it's around the time when Ron leaves, I think, is when things really started to pick up for me. I have to look what actually happens at 300 pages. It may even have been before that. Goblin's Revenge, Godric's Hollow. So a bit before 300 pages, actually, I started to really like the book. Probably right after Magic is Might, the chapter Magic is Might. I think that's really when it started to pick up for me. And then, so I finished this book and I read 200 pages in a day, which isn't really that much reading. Like, it's not an impressive feat to read 200 pages in a day for my personal reading life. But it was the most I'd sat down and read this book since I'd started it. And so I really, really liked the ending. And I'm not going to talk a lot about it, just because I don't think there was really one key piece of the ending that I really enjoyed. There was one thing that happens about midway through the book, is when they're at Xenophilius' Lovegood's house, and they go up into Luna, or Harry goes up into Luna's room. She has painted a mural of Hermione, Ron, Harry, Ginny, and Neville, and all around it, it says thousands and thousands of times she's written friends. And that is just so sweet. And she's such a good lady, and I really, really like Luna. And Creature, what a redemption arc. It was so good. But I'm so happy to be done these books. I mean, I'm not happy that they're done. I want more, but I'm happy to finally have completed the story. And now I can go back and I can start reading them again. I can go through my illustrated editions and read those. And it feels so good. I also got a lot of Harry Potter stuff while I was in London, and a lot of books as well. And I'm debating if I'm going to show that. I think I might. Not in this video, but in another one. I've put together a Harry Potter shelf. And I also have a lot of Harry Potter figurines that I could show off as well. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in something like that, seeing my Harry Potter stuff that I have collected over the years and stuff that I have from London. I do have a book haul that I meant to get out before I went to London, but just never ended up getting around to. I do have that. Should be coming out soon. I am planning on doing a book review in 1984. That should come out. I'm reading a book right now. It's actually why I decided to film this video right now, is because I was reading it and it was putting me in such a sad mood, because the book is just, I mean, you'll see when I book talk it, but it's just a very, it's a lot to read. You feel really bad while you're reading it, but it's very good. This book is gripping me. Surprise, surprise what it's going to be when I talk about it. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I have finished Harry Potter. It was so, so good. 6th book out of all of them was my favorite. 5th movie is my favorite. I liked all the books. I really liked the 2nd book when I read it. It was all good. It was all very good. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye!